Delaware draw its boundaries when it comes to voting? I'm Jill Horner. This is Comcast Newsmakers. With me is Delaware State Representative Paul Baumbach. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
We're talking about a few different voter-related issues, and one of them is where we actually vote, our voting districts. And this is determined by population. Every 10 years, we fill out our census forms. Give us an idea as to how these boundaries, these districts, are drawn here in Delaware.
Well, we're required every 10 years to rebalance them to make sure every district has around the same number of people. And that means you have to change some borders to include this and take that out. In the past, since probably the dawn of history, this has been done largely behind closed doors. And then eventually these proposed maps come out, people can speak up, maybe get a little change here and there, but largely it happens behind closed doors.
By leadership, in legislative leadership.
Legislative leadership, the head of the House, the head of the Senate. And just one party in each of the House, whoever the leader is. What we'd like to do is bring this out in the open, have a public process, have people who are appointed by both parties so that no one party can run over the other one this way. Last year, for instance, not last year, but this last time in 2011, the Senate took one neighborhood, Brookside in Newark, and divided it into 3 Senate districts. There's only 21 Senate districts in the whole state. 3 of them got a piece of this one community. That's not good. That's not right. You should need to make sure that these communities stand on their own so that they have some ownership and that you've got a representative who can really represent the neighborhoods.
And the public, though, did have input after these maps were initially put out.
As a citizen, before I was elected, I went down there and testified to the insanity that was the Senate initial map, and we got some changes that way. So we got it okay, but it was a flawed system, and it is a flawed system, so we have some changes recommended.
And in terms of these recommended changes, you want more individuals involved in the initial process before these maps are put out to the public, and you want the public involved too.
Absolutely. All these meetings would be public, so nothing's happening behind closed doors. You've got 11 members on this commission, and they are working with each other and working with the maps and saying, okay, we need to move this community from this district to this district, and then we can hear from the public what they think about it before any tentative lines are moved.
And any potential changes would be put in place for 2021 after the next census.
Correct. It wouldn't have any impact until the 2021 redistricting process.
And another issue that you're working to address is same-day registration. As it stands now, we need to be registered prior to an election. What would this change mean, and what are you hoping to accomplish in potentially making this change in terms of things like voter turnout?
Sure. There's been states like Minnesota that have had this since the 70s. And this enables somebody on election day to say, geez, I moved 4 months ago and I changed some things, but I didn't get around to the Department of Elections. But I've got my license, my photo ID, and myself, and I've got my cable bill. So I'm just going to walk down to the polls, show that I am indeed a voter in this, a resident of this district, entitled to vote. And you already have Department of Elections people there who can process that and then enable them to vote right then. It's usually around 2% of the vote for these states that have had it for years and years, and it's just people who didn't get a chance to update their records that way.
But as it stands now, people need to be registered prior to the election, and it varies in terms of the time frame for elections. Would there be safeguards in place to ensure that the individuals coming forward are actually who they say they are and should be voting in that district? Exactly,
and that's why you want that photo ID so that the human there at the polls can match it to the person, check the bill that proves that you're a resident of that district. So that's actually a little bit safer than having something mailed in where you can't match the person to the photo ID.
And you're not calling for photo IDs for elections in general, just for same-day registration?
If you're already registered, no, in Delaware you're not required to have a photo ID.
Thanks for being with us.
Thanks for having me.
We've been talking with Delaware State Representative Paul Baumbach. I'm Jill Horner.